Welcome to the Bright Lights Podcast, presented by Clovercrest Media Group. We are back. Joe Aguirre, Jamar Smith.
What's going on?
A lot's been going on since we last did a show for a variety of reasons. But
life
Mark,
has changed. We have rat beef going on.
Oh, there's all kinds of craziness in this world right now.
You know, a little bit of everything going on right now.
Yeah.
What's going on, Joe? How you doing?
I am doing well, feeling good, excited, and I'm excited that we get to catch this thing up because it has been a few weeks, and obviously a lot's happened. And women's basketball right now is on the rise.
Yeah, it's on fire. It's on fire, and as the young generation is saying, it's well deserved. You know, is me. You know, being an employee at Mohegan and looking at everything, how it's transpiring. And, you know, I was talking to the vice president of communications, shout out to Krista May from the Connecticut Sun. And she was asking me about, you know, different merchandise and what needs to be done and, you know, different stores throughout the casino. And it was cool to see how everything is about to take off, man. You know, like it's well deserved, though.
WNBA announced yesterday charter flights now going forward for every single game. So they're anticipating such a revenue hike because of Caitlin Clark and the excitement of this year's tournament. Women's basketball, it's been hot for a while, but this is as hot as it's been.
Yeah, it was the year, you know, like it was smashing, you know, ratings between the national championship and, you know, the Final Four between UConn and Iowa, you know, two of the most watched games in the past 5 to 10 years. So to see that and to see the growth and even around like Caitlin Clark, how she's such a transcendent player, you know, like you can't knock it. Like it was only a matter of time. And I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Gigi Bryant. She would have been 18 the first. Shout out to Kobe. They were very, very in the mix of transcending the game. And, you know, their legacy will forever transcend women's basketball. So happy birthday, Gigi. And shout out Kobe the Mamba. So definitely shout out women's basketball because, you know, as me, you know, being a basketball parent and, you know, a lover of women's basketball, that's what you root for, you know? So.
Oh, 100%. All right. Yeah. So pretty exciting state championships. Get us caught up. How did it all go? How did it all turn out? Highlights. We got so much to talk about with these ladies. Let's do it.
First thing first, shout out, you know, all the teams who participated in the state tournaments this year, smashing numbers of attendance records and, you know, being able to participate in your community and rep your high school. And, you know, starting off with Class LL, we're going to start off with the quarterfinals. And in the quarterfinals, we had number 1 Sacred Heart Academy over Stanford 72-49. And we had Connor, very, very great team, a dark horse for next year, a 57-42 winner over Fairfield Ludlow. And then, unfortunately, you know, I have to say this one, Norwich Free Academy, they fell to Newington in the quarterfinals, 58-40. I look forward to seeing both of these teams potentially at the Mohegan next year, and I'm definitely going to mention that. So we have Hamden, a real close win over the interdivisional rival Mercy, 37-33. And that leads to the semifinals where we had number 1, the Sacred Heart Academy, 68 over number 4, Connor, 54. And then the other game, we had Newington falling to number 3, Hamden, 51-40. Which led to the state championship, which it was about 6,000 there, which is a great crowd for women's basketball, high school state basketball as well. We had back-to-back Hamden Green Dragons, 46-40 over Sacred Heart Academy. The MVP, Alana Philpotts, 14.7 rebounds. Her sister, the twin, the double met twins, as per se. I mean, one of the greatest, the legacy ever. She only had
Lived
eight
up
and
to the
nine.
hype.
Yeah. Like shout out Hamden. It's hard. They were the first back to back champions since NFA. So just to accomplish that feat. And on the losing side, well, really never a losing side, but Sacred Heart Academy, Emily Manillo, she had 13 points and she had 5 rebounds, and Megan Kursick had 9 rebounds. It was a great game, a scrappy game. I was expecting a little more, but you can't really expect anything, y'all. But a great effort and great game from both of these teams. So, shout out to Hamden, back-to-back champions, 46-40 over SHA.
We said that was going to happen from the
Yeah, I know,
beginning.
I know,
Yeah,
I know. We
like
did call, we did call that from the beginning. So
nailed it.
like, it was just kind of like only a matter of time, and I don't know, like, maybe Hamden can repeat. Shout out to the UConn men as well. They back to back. Maybe Hamden can go for a three-peat like UConn men. So, that's gonna kind of slide us into Class L. Class L was a very, I would say, unexpected but expected, bracket this year. And starting off with the quarterfinals, we had number one Holy Cross, featuring the dynamic duo of Karen Lomax and Shania Howard. They had the big win over number eight Bristol, 69-33. And in the next quarterfinal, we had Farmington with a big win over Bethel, 68-25. The third was a game that I felt that should have been the state championships, but unfortunately it wasn't. We had a low scoring game, which Simsbury had a big win over Windsor, 37-31. And the last quarterfinal, we have a big win for New Milford, the Green Wave, 57-36 over Massac, which leads to the semifinals. We have Holy Cross with a big win, 69-63, as they were trailing after Farmington was an underdog team, and I'm big on underdogs. So, like, shout out to Farmington. Y'all gave it y'all all 6-point defeat to the number one seed. Kudos to you guys. And the other semifinal, we had Simsbury with a big win over New Milford, 42-32. So, which leads to the Class L, number one versus number two, big game. Holy Cross, Simsbury, what Simsbury had the big win, 55-40. The big successful scenes of Amanda Gallagher and Olivia Jarlis, excuse me, they completed a great career at Simsbury. They transcended the program to new heights. I would really say in the last 15 to 20 years, So shout out to Simsbury as Amanda Gallagher. She had 21.7 rebounds. Olivia Jarvis, she had 19 points, 8 rebounds. And also Jarvis scored her 1,000th career point in the championship game. So you can't beat that. You can't beat that, So, shout out to Coach Fantulo, the Trojans. I'm looking forward to them having a big comeback next year. And on the losing note, we have Corinne Lomax. She finished with 6 points, and Shania Howard. She had a big game. She had 17 points and 5 steals. I expect both of these teams to be back in the mix for Class L unless they reclassify next year. So
I didn't see Simsbury coming. All I can say is, damn,
yeah, right,
wow, that
right,
is something else.
yeah, like like Simsbury, they're not the biggest team, but they're a very balanced team. And I just felt like over the past couple of years, they were kind of like creeping up in the rankings and in the CCC, which is a very difficult conference. But it's just sometimes when the stars align, it happens. It happens, So you can't. That's what I love about March Madness, because you never know when something is going to happen. Like, you expect the favorite to really run through the table. Sometimes it does, and sometimes you get that big upset that just knocks the whole bracket off. So shout out to Simsbury.
There were a decent amount of upsets though
Yeah,
throughout the
yeah,
championships, which we love.
yeah. And I shout out to the underdogs out there, man. And like I said, women's basketball in the state of Connecticut this year was amazing, So as we're gonna lead into the Class Double M bracket, we're gonna start off with the quarterfinals. So we got number 17 Brookfield, which had an upset in the beginning of the tournament, and they fell to number 9 Berlin 58-38. And then the second quarterfinal, we had number 5 Sheehan Wallingford, a big win over Bacon Academy, 51-41. And we have the third quarterfinal. We have number 2 Northwest Catholic, which is in the midst of starting a legacy. Big win over Rocky Hill. Rocky Hill, I expect them to be back next year, but they fell to Northwest Catholic 68-49. Yep. And we had the underdog quarterfinal of the underdog quarterfinals, where we had number 11 North Haven over number 30 Ram Hebron 65-43. Like a 30th seed in the quarterfinals. Shout out Ram, man.
Wow.
Just to come out of nowhere, 2 upsets in the first and second round. You can't ask for better, like March Madness at its finest. And this leads to the semis, where we have number 9 Berlin falling to number 5 Sheehan 64-45. And the other semifinal, we have number 2 Northwest Catholic 59 and number 11 North Haven 43, which led to the Class Double M state finals, where it was a great game. Sheehan Wallingford gave their all. But Northwest Catholic, shout out to Maeve Russian, Rebecca Lobo's daughter. Maeve Staunton, Abigail Casper, the Treacherous Trio. They got the state championship. Number 2 in 2 brackets, 43-37 over Sheehan Wallingford. Amazing game. Sophomore Abby Casper had 19 points. Sophomore Maeve Staunton had 16 points. And for the losing effort, we had Liv Cassis, 12 points, and Megan Riesland, 7 points. And that's 2 for 2. Last year, Northwest Catholic won in Class S. This year, Class MM. So it's like 2 in a row. Their best players are sophomores. They got a great program. So I'm definitely looking forward to them for the repeat. And Sheehan Wallingford, a great program. Remember the Titans, I would say, no pun intended. I expect them to be back in the Class MM next year per se. Maybe even they got a young team, so I would say maybe even 25-26. But over these next 2 years, look out for Sheehan Wallingford. So
shout out to Wallingford.
That's what I said. We're gonna lead to the Class M, and Class M is probably one of the biggest upsets of the year. I would say. Class M, we're going to start off with the quarterfinals, where we have number 1, 46 in a row, East Hampton over number 9, Kobe Cathedral, 71-58. And shout out to the technical schools, but they fell hard. We got number 5, Wyndham over Wilcox Tech. Shout out Wilcox, though. They got to the quarterfinals. The technical schools, it's been a rarity. But we had a big way for the technical schools this year, but they fell to Wyndham 93-44. We got the third quarterfinal, which we got St. Paul, the Falcons out of Bristol, with a big win over Granby Memorial 49-29. And in the fourth, but last but not least, quarterfinal, we have number 3 Oxford over number 6 Northwestern Regional 54-28. And which leads to the semifinals. We have number 5 Wyndham with a big win over 46-win defending Class M state champion East Hampton, 44-42. One of the most electrifying games you could ever ask for. A close game. But the Whippets, they prevailed. And in the second semifinal, we have St. Paul with a big win over Oxford 49-34, which leads to the state championship, which it was a tough game. It was very back and forth. But congratulations to the Falcons out of Bristol, St. Paul, with a big win 49-42 over Wyndham. Rebecca Kelly, the center, had 14 points, 11 rebounds. Audrey Tice had 8 points. And on the losing effort, we had Wyndham Jaleese Rivera, 21 points, and senior Helly Flores has 6 points. I expect to see both teams back in Class M, especially Wyndham. They're a very young team. They have a lot of great freshmen and sophomores that's going to turn into like a leadership role and a balance. So shout out both teams, but shout out St. Paul. Go Falcons, Class M state champions. And that's going to lead into Class S. Very, very, very a lot of close games, some blowouts, but a lot of close games with the small schools. And we're gonna start off with number 16 Chalk Durham falling to Bolton 47-38. And in the second quarterfinal, we have Summers, number 4 seed, with a big 72-38 win over number 5 seed Gilbert. In the third quarterfinal, we have Thomaston, which runs the Class S tournament table for the past 5 to 6 years, with a big win over Lima Memorial, 62-30. And the last quarterfinal, a close game, East Catholic, shout out Deja Lee Dogans, 54-53 over 19 seeded Canton. Canton usually has a strong program. Won a couple state championships a couple years back, and East Catholic got the win. Shout out to CCC and East Catholic. And we got the first semifinals. We have Summers with a big win over interdivisional rival Bolton, 62-40. And we have number 2 Thomaston with a big win over East Catholic, 53-47. And which leads to the state championship, which we have Summers strong, number 4 seed 56, number 2 Thomaston 43. Thomaston won at least the last 3 out of the 4 state championships. They made it to another state championship, but fell to Summers. First time winner in 30 plus years. And it was a lot that Summers came over with the Summers Fire. Personally, it brought the community together as I watched the interviews. And to be able to have something so tragic happen, to turn around to bring something, positive and in a great way for Summers. So shout out Summers. They had a first state championship since 77. Sophomore Maya Slasky, 22 points, 13 rebounds, 3 blocks. And Eliana Woods, 16 points, 10 rebounds. And Sydney Cassidy, 16 points, 12 rebounds. So they were going. Summers was going. And for Thomaston, we have Nicole Decker and Ava Hartness, 13 points and 16 points respectfully. So shout out both teams. Summers' first state championship since 1977, and they brought back some great things and great energy for the town. So, go Spartans! Go Spartans!
Go Spartans! Yeah.
All
right, so that gets everybody all caught up.
Absolutely.
On how the basketball season started. Obviously, you refer to March Madness sometimes. It is May.
Yes, it is. I mean, like things happen, you have things that go on, you have work schedules, and we wanted to do a beginning of spring to middle of spring recap. So we're here in May.
Well, right, you want to give those girls their due and give them their shout outs. Obviously, you followed this so well all season long. Very exciting. We're also going to do a recap. You're going to do a rank of the top 25 now that the season's been done.
Yes, absolutely. And also I'll be releasing the final rankings for each class, sophomores, juniors, and seniors as well. We have a top 25 for each the seniors and juniors, and a top 15 for the sophomores. So it's a great thing. It's a great thing for Connecticut CIAC basketball. It was an amazing season. So we're looking forward to also releasing the top 25 for the 2024-2025 season. There's a little bit of surprises. There's a couple expected to be in there, but I'm looking forward because there's a lot of talent that's going to come next year as well. And we don't know because we got some transfers maybe happening. We got, changes that could be happening. So, we want you guys to stay tuned to the bright lights.
Now, in addition to that, we'll also do an episode dedicated just to the UConn women.
Yes.
And their fantastic tournament run. It came up a little bit short, but
yes, it did.
Nothing to not be proud of.
Yeah, not the fret over. I was a little disappointed because I was watching it with my wife. Shout out Lindsay, and we were sitting here thinking that okay, UConn, they can take this. So Aaliyah Edwards ended up having a move-it pick called on her. So that's something I want to talk about. Something maybe I have a little bit of disagreement on, but hey, we're gonna save that for that episode.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Also, Connecticut Sun is playing. I mentioned earlier, WNBA prospects are up, man. Caitlin Clark has got this league on fire right now. They're selling merch. They're selling out arenas. If the WNBA can take that momentum, we'll be there to cover the whole thing. So you could literally see this thing really take off this season, and we'll be there to cover the Connecticut Sun all season long as well.
Absolutely, and it's crazy because the first night, like they actually had an exhibition game tonight versus the New York Liberty, but the first game for Caitlin Clark is at the Mohegan Sun Arena versus the Connecticut Sun. It's May 14th at 7 p.m. and expect a sellout, man. I was looking at the ticket prices and they're crazy. Just shout out to WNBA. I feel it's time. I feel it's that time, and it's well deserved. And the bright lights. We will be covering the Connecticut Sun all season. We also will be covering the transfer portal for the UConn women and kind of what's going on in between the summer on some AAU programs as well. So look out for a lot of information that's going to be coming your way.
Yeah, very exciting. Again, just the right time to be talking about women's basketball, just in general.
And the basketball capital of the world.
Absolutely. Everybody knows it now. The Bright Lights CT1. You could find us on Instagram. And I'll tell you some
Twitch.
Really cool, by the way. Really cool.
We're going to be adding to YouTube as well.
Yep. It's all coming. That's how you find us. Next week, another new episode.
Let's go. The Bright Light CT. Catch us at IG. Catch us at Facebook. Catch us on, Twitch. We're gonna be coming to every DSP per se soon, and we're gonna be coming to your backyards and your homes and your TVs. The Bright Lights, baby. Shout out to women's basketball capital of the world. Let's go.
For Jamar Smith, I'm Joe Aguirre. This has been the Bright Lights Podcast. See ya.
Peace.
Welcome to the Bright Lights Podcast, presented by Clovercrest Media Group.